Today I am going to talk about hay and water, the two most important things that your goats are going to need. Um, so I'll give you some tips on how we serve the hay and maybe some things that you shouldn't do, and hopefully some helpful pointers. So if you like what I have to say or want to learn more about goats and some tips on how you can do things on your farm, hit the subscribe button and the notify button too, so that you can be notified when I put up a new one. Thanks. Stay tuned. First of all, pasture. Of course, this isn't hay, but having a good pasture is very helpful. But if you don't have a pasture, it is also okay to have goats. But you're going to need to make sure rather, that they have enough hay and, like I said, a good serving area so that they can eat the hay without soiling it. I'll show you some of those. Well, these here are the hay feeders that we have. Now, we haven't always had hay feeders like this. I have two of them, one over here, one over there. The pen needs to be cleaned out right now, so they are a bit higher when the pen is cleaned out. You'll notice that there's a bit of, well, quite a bit of hay on the floor. Goats are always going to waste hay. That's just part of what you're going to have. But it's not really wasted unless you just throw it away. When I clean out the pen, I will be leaving a lot of that. 99% of that hay there is clean. It might be a little bit soiled on the bottom, but overall it's clean. So I'll use that in their bedding. And of course, we have a large pen now, but in smaller pens, you'll find also that they're going to do the same thing. And you'll, you can either waste the hay by throwing it away, or you can use it as bedding. The goats aren't going to eat it. Sometimes I'll throw some hay in if I find hay that they might not be eating for some reason, and I think that they don't want it, then I will throw it into the goat pen. And yeah, they'll go at it and munch it, but they're not going to eat very much of it. They'll kind of pick through it, and then somebody's going to decide that it's a great place to sleep. So they're going to do that. Okay, this is the hay feeder from my side, the side that I feed from. So we have the board here. We had it. This was originally just the pen. My husband built the hay feeders for us. So we discovered quickly that the hay wanted to come out the wrong side. So we have the board there that keeps it from sliding out. And they do go underneath and pick at it and bring the hay down. But overall, they they stay pretty good. You'll probably notice, maybe I'll insert a picture of one of the little ones who's decided to climb in and eat, which is something that you have to keep in mind when you are serving goats hay, because they climb into it. And as soon as they've climbed into it and it's become a bed, they aren't going to want to eat it. So I advise making sure that you have a hay area that can't happen. This thing here is a really handy hay feeder for a small pen. It's a little unhandy to serve it because I have to stuff it down in there, but it does a really good job um, keeping hay clean. I can use it for baby goats, which is mostly what I use it for. I had a couple of new goats in this little pen that I put together in the back corner. So I've had it back here, and everybody ate the hay out of it already. But that type of thing is really, really handy. I suppose you could probably also use this fencing stuff here roll it into a circle and or cylinder, I should say, and use that as a hay feeder. Make sure there's no sharp edges on it. But that's a nice, easy way to serve the hay without allowing the goats to have access to something that they can get themselves tangled up into. So there's a couple things that I would advise you not use. First and most important thing is a hay net. Hay nets are great for horses. They are not great for goats. I've thought they were a grand idea for a very short period of time. I had a little baby goat, had itself completely tangled neck. Thankfully, I heard it holler and I was able to save it. But had I not been there, it would have been dead very soon. I had one of my male goats do the same thing. He was a little bigger, but he was struggling and he was hurting by the time I got to him. So please don't use a hay net. They are not worth it. They are great for horses because horses don't do what goats do. But yeah, not no hay nets. Hay bags, they're okay, but they're going to get destroyed. The goat at least isn't going to have itself tangled up in there and you know choke. So that's a little bit better. Hay with wooden slats, or hay racks, I should say, with wooden slats. Those can be helpful. You'll see a lot of those on Pinterest or something like that. Those can be okay, but again, you have to watch the size of your goats. I mean, I've had my goats get their heads stuck in there and I have to cut the thing to get them out. So those are things you need to keep in mind. I mean, maybe you can easily get it out, but uh, sometimes if a goat's in there for a while, they're going to struggle and they're going to break their neck and or strangle. So just make sure that the slats are a short distance, I mean, short spaces between them so that the goat head can't get in there. Baby goats are a lot better at getting their heads into things than big goats, but big goats can do it too, believe me. They're pretty creative. And the heads can go in and they cannot come back out as easily. So you'll rescue goat heads if you have fencing that they can think about putting their head through because they will. So those things are okay, but just again, use wisdom, be careful on how you make it. Really research what you're doing before you put a lot of time and effort and then end up with a problem. So those that's advice that I have. There's a lot of other hay servants out there. Oh, I'll show you what we serve our male goats their hay in. It's a lot more simple and it works pretty well. They probably waste a little bit more hay, but I'll show it to you.